Get your ass in. Homie. Yeah, man. What's up? What's cracking, everybody? It's your essay, homie. Back again with another little documentary reaction. This one is New York Drill Deadly Gang Wars. The Bronx versus Harlem. I ain't not gonna lie, man. New York gets crazy. Just like Chicago, man. But instead of blocks, it's towns, cities, and boroughs, and etc., man. But before we get into it, y'all already know. Grab your food, your drink, your smoke, whatever you gonna do, man. Go do that. You're a grown ass person. You know, can't tell you what to do. But yeah, man, let's get into this. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get it.
Harlem after a man was stabbed to death. It happened just before 1 this morning on West 1.
Oh yeah, man. One thing that's crazy about New York, everybody does drill songs and they start dissing the dead. New York is different. They do dance diss songs, bro. They'll do a dance to diss people, man. And they make that shit go viral, bro. That's crazy, man. Not just diss songs, diss dancing. Damn. What's next?
A 10-year-old boy has been charged with killing another teen on a subway platform.
The plea came after the shooting death of an 18-year-old aspiring rapper.
Children running for safety. This happened in the Bronx.
They be shanking y'all, man. They be shanking y'all. They be shanking kids, bro. They don't be, they do pop, but you know they be doing that up and close and personal. They'll jump somebody to death. They'll hit them with broomsticks till they, you know what I mean, gone. They'll hit them with the goddamn trash can if that's what it takes, bro. It don't matter what it is. They make it happen until the other person is no longer here, man. Shanking, stabbing, poking, whatever y'all want to call it.
New York City is one of, if not the most well-known cities in the entirety of the world, as well as being one of the most diverse cities attracting tourism from all over the world. New York City has multiple well-known landmarks. In the heart of the city lies Times Square, as well as skyscrapers like the Empire State Building. As of 2022, the population of New York City is around 8.3 million people living in and around the 5 boroughs that make up the larger New York City. These 5 boroughs being Staten Island, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and finally the Bronx. These last 2 boroughs, Manhattan and the Bronx, being areas that have had a large gang presence, with these street gangs being at war with one another, resulting in deadly shootings playing out in broad daylight in front of New York City's most iconic landmarks. In recent years, the drill scene in New York City would explode and gain mainstream attention, leading to the young rappers involved in these small street gangs gaining super fame overnight. Now, you might be confused as to why groups of teenagers, based in 2 completely different boroughs, are at war with one another. This deadly gang war leading to the deaths of over 20 people in both Manhattan and the Bronx.
Play War Thunder now. Join millions of players across the globe in massive battles on tanks.
The first street gang I'll be discussing within this video is that of YGs, which stands for Young Gunners. The YGs gang was created in 2003 and was largely based around the Patterson housing projects, as well as the Mott Haven houses in the Bronx. The original older members of the YGs would be swept up by police in a federal indictment, leading to the older YGs facing major charges put towards them. This then resulted in the Youngers taking over. The YGs gang would later move around areas within the Bronx and has created new sets under the YGs name. Examples of these being RPT, this being a group of YG's members based around the River Park Towers housing complex.
Where we at right now, man? 1 way in, 1 way out.
This group of members also make up an alliance known as Fours, which then makes up the larger YG's.
It don't matter where they at, man, where any type of youngsters are at, bro. They could live in America Lane. They're gonna make America Lane into a gang. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean they're gonna abbreviate it, do whatever it is, bro. That one street name is gonna be called some kind of gang name, bro. They don't matter where they at, they're gonna turn that shit into a hood.
Alliance. You may know this gang as the popular Bronx drill rapper D-Thang hails from here. MHG is another gang that falls under the larger YG's alliance. MHG, or Most Hated Gunners, is a gang of YGs that are mainly based around Mott Haven, which is often credited to have been the birthplace of the YGs. This MHG crew being the YG's gang that the popular rapper Yus G's is a part of. Other sets of YGs include ECG, which is repped by Shaw G's, and finally 800, which is the crew repped by Nesty Flocks. Other rappers that are a part of the YG's alliance are those of N. Spinalot from RPT, Ide Guns from RPT, and finally Wu Lottie from MHG. It's important to note that other gangs are also closely allied with YGs, but aren't technically considered YGs. An example of this being the gang Grizzly Gang, which shares the same beef as YGs, but aren't considered YGs. Similarly to the Grizzly Gang, another gang known as Drilly is also allied with YGs, and beefs all of their ops. This Drilly crew became well known in the New York drill scene, after rappers like Lee Drilly would make some real noise within the streets. These YGs allied crews have beef with the nearby DOA alliance, as well as OY from Upper Manhattan and OGs, also based within the Bronx. But to make things simple, I'll explain each gang and who they have beef with. DOA, which stands for Dumping on Anything, is an alliance of gangs in the Bronx. This alliance
Well, that's a new one for me. I thought it was death on arrival. Nah, it's dumping on people, bro. Dumping on sight or dumping on anybody. Jeez.
directly opposing the YGs. It's thought that the DOA alliance was created around 2015 or 16 and mainly consisted of the gangs Sevside, Rayway, and Third Side. Although since then, other gangs under the DOA name have become prominent, examples being 380 and Six Way. This DOA gang also identifies as EBK, or Everybody Killer, which meant that they had a rivalry with all surrounding gangs, having little to no affiliation with other gangs. For simplicity's sake, however, I'll only be discussing the main gangs involved with DOA, these being Sevside, Rayway, and Third Side. Rappers associated with the Sevside DOA gang include K-Flock, Dougie B, and B-Love, who was close with K-Flock but was from the OG's gang. In the Rayway gang, the rappers include C-Blue as well as Set the Trend. Finally, the Third Side gang's most notable members include Zay Muna and No Love Muna. This DOA alliance of gangs has a rivalry with every gang discussed within this video. This includes YG's, which is crazy, as one of DOA's most well-known rappers is K-Video. This includes
I don't know how these kids could keep track of who they cool with, who they not cool with, bro. Cause that's a lot of alliances that we have to remember, bro. Bathgate Babies, Fish to the Seb, 163rd, Youngest Flashing, They Are Cool with Slattery, Kingsbridge, 280 Block. Man.
YG's, which is crazy, as one of DOA's most well-known rappers is K-Flock.
I don't know if it's a mute or not. Let's get it, bro.
This includes YG's, which is crazy, as one of DOA's most well-known rappers is K-Flock, and the most well-known rapper from YG's is D-Thang, these two rappers actually being cousins. It's also important to note that other gangs are closely allied with DOA, but aren't really considered DOA. An example of this being the gangs.
Two cousins are choosing a gang over blood. That's wild. I mean, nah, it's not wild, bro. Everybody doing it. Nigga, Chicago, LA, yeah, the gang is more powerful than bloodlines nowadays, man. It's crazy.
Slattery Boys. This gang sharing the same beef as DOA. As well as these gangs, two other street crews have a rivalry with both DOA and YG's. These two gangs being known as OY, or Original Youngins, and OG's, or Original Goons. OY is a gang that is mainly located around a small neighborhood within Harlem, Upper Manhattan. This neighborhood being known as Sugar Hill. The OY gang was created around 2005. Since then, however, the OY crew has spread around Manhattan and also has territory in other places. Now, a lot of the OY members also rep the area.
That's a youngster that was laid to rest. That's the one that got, he got poked in the subway in the beginning of the video. The one body in the subway. This is one of the youngsters, man. I think it was Naughty. Yeah, I think it was Naughty. He saw another youngster. He ran up on him and got poked, man. That's what they do. That crazy dance y'all see about them stabbing each other. It's a dance trying to diss him, man. It's crazy.
Which is Sugar Hill. Examples being Sugar Hill Keem, Sugar Hill D. and Sugar Hill DD. But to make things simple, Sugar Hill and OY are basically the same thing. The OY gang had a close tie with another small gang known as OG's, with the gang even going by OY OG's. However, since 2022, the two gangs would split, although I'll speak about this later on in the video. Popular members of OY include DD Osama, E. Baby, and Duty Low, to name a few. The final gang is that of OG's, which is a small street gang that mainly hails from Cortlandt Ave within the Bronx. jokes. The gang was originally close with the YG's gang around the early 2010s. However, following a dispute between members, young YG's affiliated gang members would branch off, creating their own gang known as OGFC, which stood for Original Goons from Cortland, before then just changing their name to OGs, or Original Goons. The OG's gang would have a close alliance with the OY gang from Sugar Hill. This would change, however, in 2022 following a dispute between members. The OG's gang has beef with YG's, OY, as well as DOA, with the most popular member hailing from the OG's, being that of Shaw EK, who gained a following after dropping songs like New Ops. Now, this may all sound confusing, so to simplify things, the war I'll be discussing is OY.
You telling me, man, this is confusing like a month. All these abbreviations. Imagine you hitting up somebody, you start saying OYGGYZ, and then by the time you finish saying your shit, you're already done getting splatted. Man, that's whoo. Imagine them fingers, they be hurting, bro. All them letters and wait. That's too many goddamn letters to be saying out loud, man. Every time you get hit up, yeah. Ain't none of that, man.
Based around Sugar Hill versus YG's versus DOA versus OG's, these gangs all beefing each other. Now that you know what gangs are involved in this war, we can now take a deep dive into what made these teenagers from completely different areas begin to have.
I'm sorry, man, but I don't know what gangs are into with each, with who, man, because all I heard him say was so many goddamn letters, and man, it blew my mind. I'm just watching at this point. I don't even know what letter belongs to what, who's cool with what letters. What alphabet comes first? I don't know. I'm confused. I'm just gonna watch the damn thing, man. Let's go.
Have a dangerous and deadly rivalry that has subsequently resulted in dozens of murders occurring within the streets of New York City.
Shooting that left a teenager injured in the Bronx. You can see a man and woman walking along Grand Avenue in the Claremont section. The man pulls out a gun and shoots down the street.
Can't wait to see Auntie now.
The YG's crew would be created around 2004 by Jew Hef from the Mott Haven neighborhood. Another member of the YG's was that of Melly Mel Baller, who was close with Jew Hef until around 2010, when the two gang members would have an argument about an alleged robbery. Melly Mel Baller and a few other members then decided to split off from the YG's gang, and went on to create a gang known as GFC, which was based around Cortland Avenue. GFC stood for God's Favorite Children, but would then change their name to OGFC, which was an acronym for Original Goons from Cortland, before then changing the name one final time to OGs, or Original Goons. This OGs crew would go on to rival their old friends from the Mott Haven-based collective YGs. It's believed that as the years went on, members from the OGs.
I don't know how this dude right here remembered all this shit. I know he must have had notes with ops. When he was writing his shit down, he must have. Woo, that would have been confused just saying this story, bro. Even if I had to read it, man. Yeah.
Gang would claim other territories in New York City, one of these being Sugar Hill, from Upper Manhattan. This area would later be the home to young gang members that repped the crew known as OY, or Original Youngins. This OY gang was very closely allied to OGs, even spawning the name OY OGs, which was something often mentioned in tracks created by either OGs members or OY members. This alliance between OY and OGs would end in 2022 following a dispute between members. However, I'll explain that later in the video. Similarly to the OGs gang, the YGs gang would move their territory as well, moving to River Park Towers, which is where the RPT gang was created. These towers included 4 residential buildings, built and completed in the 1970s. The towers have been renowned for illegal activities taking place within the apartments. Anyways, the RPT gang is a group of YGs that are allied under the larger YGs alliance. One of their most well-known members was that of D-Thang. Around the early 2010s, the tension between both YGs and OGs would escalate following the brutal murder of a teenage OGs member. On the 16th of April 2012, a group of YGs would be drinking and getting drunk.
Yeah, man, this is the young kid that was, I think he got jumped and he was stomped, you know. He was deceased after that stomping, bro. That's crazy. I think he was only like 15, 16. Yeah, around there. That's crazy, bro. I think he got jumped by like older members too.
the group of young gunners would get into an argument with one another about who was the most dangerous and active member. In an attempt to settle the debate, the group of YGs decided to travel from their block onto Cortlandt Avenue, which is the home of the OGs gang. Upon reaching the rival area, which was a few blocks away, the bloodthirsty YGs searched for rival OGs for a few minutes, before then noticing 16-year-old Noah, who was standing with a friend outside of his home building. The group of YGs launched an attack on Noah and his friend. Two of the attackers focused their attention toward Noah, who by this point was on the floor. The attackers then stomped on Noah, causing severe injury. Noah's friend was also being attacked by the members, with a witness to the crime, then alerting police of the attack. After a few minutes, the attackers fled on foot and police would arrive. Police would originally believe that Noah had been shot dead due to the severity of the murder. Noah was rushed to hospital but would sadly be pronounced dead hours later. A murder investigation would see the arrests of all of the YG's members involved in the attack, with them receiving lengthy prison sentences, whilst the OGs would attempt to carry Noah's name in a positive light, taking pictures at his gravesite. Following his death, rival gangs would begin to heavily disrespect him. A prime example of this being D-Thang, who would rap on a track titled Tactical with T-Dot, going as far as to say he would dig up Noah's grave and stomp on him, just how the YGs did in 2012. This is all crazy, as if you do the math, D-Thang was around 10 years old when Noah was killed. However, D-Thang's age didn't stop him from getting active in the streets, supposedly being an active YG's member since the early 2010s, with an old Instagram live video even emerging from when D-Thang was around 13 or 14, this portraying both Wu Lottie and D-Thang on an Instagram live.
Yo, Cypher's front again?
Cypher's ain't front again, bro. I got that toolie on me, boy.
This becoming sad when you come to learn that only a few years later, Wu Lottie would be stabbed and killed, resulting in a dangerous feud that subsequently resulted in the murders of countless people. At the start of 2013, Ju Hef, the founder of the YG's gang, would drop a song featuring A-Bless. Within the song, you can hear Ju Hef rapping about how the YG's gang was very prominent within the underground drug scene.
Can you see it? Better believe it. I'm moving heavy cane. Everything water like a hurricane.
This may have been a mistake, as around 2015, a federal indictment would occur against the YG's gang, picking up over 20 members of the YG's crew, all on different charges, although I'll speak about this later. It would be a year after the death of Noah that the founder of the YG's, Ju Hef, who I just spoke about, would be killed in an extremely brutal way, even being disrespected today by younger members of the OGs and other rival gangs. On the 26th of August 2013, Ju Hef as well as other YGs would be attending the Tropicana nightclub within the Bronx at around 3 a.m. A brawl between the crew of YGs and a rival group known as Flybridge, or Highbridge, would break out. The brawl quickly turned deadly when an attacker used the end of a hookah pipe to beat Ju Hef, who by this point went into a coma. Emergency services quickly arrived on the scene and would transport Ju Hef to hospital, where he remained in a coma for a few days. Sadly, however, a week following the deadly attack in the nightclub, Ju Hef was pronounced dead in the hospital. Upon hearing that Ju Hef had died, members of the OGs would begin to taunt the YGs and would constantly mock Ju Hef. On one occasion, OGs members would travel to Ju Hef's memorial and would urinate all over it. Even though Ju Hef died over 10 years ago, young members of the gangs that rival YGs often still disrespect him. PJ Glizzy, who was a notable member of the OGs, would rap on his track titled Muddy, in which he said he was smoking on dead rivals, including Ju Hef, this then being followed by the eerie bar, "Boy got beat with a hookah to death." Following the death of Ju Hef, police would begin to look into the gangs, and in 2015, a federal indictment would be put against the YG's gang. This indictment included 22 members of the YG's gang and 26 other Bronx gang members. The YG's members would later be charged with racketeering offenses as well as 3 murders, drug trafficking, and finally firearm offenses. This indictment would actually identify some of the people responsible for the brutal murder of Noah 3 years earlier, and would result in the members responsible being given lengthy prison sentences. These indictments wouldn't end for the New York gangs, as in 2016, over 100 members of the YGs would be taken down for at least 8 murders linked to the gang, this then being one of New York City's biggest gang takedowns. It's believed that these gang indictments that saw the arrests of prominent olders would result in the youngers taking over. Around 2015, gangs aligned with that of Sevside would become a lot more prominent, an example of this being Rayway and Third Side, although other gangs also emerged and are allied with DOA, examples being 700 DOA and 6 Way. For simplicity's sake, however, I'll only really be speaking about Sevside, Rayway, and Third Side. Now, originally, some Sevside members and some OYOG's members would be linked up, an example of this being E-Dot, who was a well-known OY rapper and would be somewhat affiliated with K-Flock from Sevside. This all changed when E-Dot would be on an Instagram Live with one of K-Flock's main ops. This then causing a divide between Sev's side and OY, with OGs then siding with OY, and referring to themselves as OYOGs. Now, this gets confusing, because the popular Bronx rapper B Love is actually from the OGs gang.
Man, that shit was confusing in the beginning of the goddamn video, bro. Damn.
And would get very close with K-Flock from Sev's side, but also reps OGs. He doesn't associate with OY, however, and actually has a rivalry with them. I'm saying this because the DOA alliance will become very prominent within this gang war, getting very involved in the war. Anyways, only months after the federal indictment against YGs in April 2016, the younger members began to get active within the streets. This was proven in July 2016, when members of YGs from RPT, D-Thang's Hood, would shoot dead a rival from Highbridge known as UE. On the 23rd of July 2016, 24-year-old UE, whose real name was Earl Simmons, would be standing on Anderson Avenue near Yankee Stadium.
Y'all thinking what I'm thinking? Earl Simmons? Ain't that DMX's name? DMX's name Earl Simmons, right? Damn.
At around 2 a.m. on July the 23rd, a member of YGs from RPT known as Creamhound, as well as two other men, would notice UE. Creamhound began to let off shots towards UE, hitting him in his head. The attackers would flee in a gray sedan, but the members were apprehended shortly after the attack, after the sedan driven by the attackers crashed into a police car just a few blocks from the shooting. A witness stated, "First I heard one shot, then two in the same time, quick, and then I heard people running and crying, and I never came out." UE was rushed to Lincoln Hospital, but despite the attempts of medical professionals, was pronounced dead moments later. Creamhound was later charged for the murder of UE and would then receive 28 years for the deadly shooting. In recent years, videos have emerged showing UE's killer Creamhound rapping in old RPT music videos from the early 2010s, in which you can actually hear him rap.
I said RPT to YG, yeah, we on the block. 4-6.
Just under a month following the shooting that claimed UE's life, on the 14th of August 2016, an alleged affiliate of the Slattery Boys gang, known locally as Smelly, would get into a heated confrontation with another man over a bike he had recently sold. Sadly, Smelly would end up getting stabbed more than a dozen times by a man. Smelly died on the scene, with the man going on to be arrested and charged for his murder. Rest in peace, Smelly. Like everyone else that has fallen victim to this endless war, Smelly is often mocked by his rivals in drill tracks, which is crazy, because if you think
I think these kids just don't care, bro. Every last one of them that he mentioned that did something, they all got caught. All of them got caught. They just like, I ain't trying to be out here no more. I don't want to eat good. I don't want to bang this, you know. I don't want to bang her. I don't want to bang her. I'd rather be in jail with all these men seeing dingalangs and booty holes in the showers and shit. Yeah, they tripping.
about it, Smelly's death was completely unrelated to any street politics within the area. Around the end of 2016 and start of 2017, a crew based around Crotona Avenue would begin to get more active within the streets of the Bronx, this being Third Side, which was a crew that was mainly made up of DOA members, and are basically allied with other DOA gangs like Sev's Side and Rayway. Members of Third Side included Zay Munna and No Love Munna, and originally, the Third Side gang wouldn't really have a dangerous rivalry with the YGs. However, in the months following Smelly's death, a loved member of Third Side would be killed by YG's members, sparking another war within the streets, this being DOA versus the YGs. On the 11th of April 2017, 19-year-old Tanky Baller, who was a member of the Third Side gang, which was allied under DOA, would be spinning rival YG's 800 territory. At around 5 p.m., Tanky Baller would be on the corner of East 180th Street and Prospect Avenue, when rival YG's members would notice him. The 800 YGs opened fire on Tanky Baller, shooting toward him multiple times. Tank sustained a wound to the neck as a result of the shooting, the attackers then quickly fleeing following the attack. Tank then staggered around the corner onto East 181st Street, before then collapsing in front of a store. Medics then rushed to his aid, taking him to St. Barnabas Hospital. Sadly, however, Tank was pronounced dead hours later. Tank was actually one of 3 people all shot dead on the same day within New York City. Rest in peace, Tanky Baller. It's believed that the death of Tanky Baller would cause the modern-day Third Side and YG's rivalry, as Third Side members would be quick to get back for their dead friend. In a track released by a YG's member known locally as Raw G's, he would reference the death of Tanky Baller and would
Yo, this right here it's crazy, man, because I saw the video on Reddit of this young man right here, last day on Earth. He was chilling in that Uber on his phone. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say, bro. That shit was crazy, man. You could see that shit right away when, yeah.
would actually suggest that Tanky Baller went to YG's territory unarmed, with him rapping, "Smoking on Tank should have had his chop," whilst Raw G's would be dissing Tank and other dead rivals. He himself would later be killed only streets away from Tanky Baller. 2018 would roll around, with gang members on every side of the war beginning to get active within the streets. In 2018, E.Baby would often be chilling on Sugar Hill territory, and would later decide to join the OY gang, looking up to his older Country Kane, who is actually credited to have been the founder of the OY gang. Sadly, however, Kane wouldn't be able to observe the success that OY would gain within the drill scene, as in May 2018, he would be gunned down in his own area. The alleged killers were members from the Harlem-based crew 40 Boys, who have actually become quite a dangerous gang themselves. Anyways, the death of Country Kane would affect OY members. In E.'s first song, with Roscoe, he would show love to Kane, which is something OY members don't really do nowadays. In the track, you can hear E. saying, around a year following the death of Country Kane, 18-year-old YG's affiliated gang member would begin to drop his own music with his friends. This year-old being D-Thang. On the 19th of August 2019, a music video titled Ain't No Exposing G's would be uploaded onto YouTube. This music video featured multiple young rappers from the Bronx, D-Thang being one of them. This was D-Thang's debut track, and saw him taunting his rivals within the lyrics, rapping about shootings and murder. The track was a remix of the popular song Exposing Me by Chicago rapper Mimo 600. Within the lyrics of the song, D-Thang would rap that him and his RPTYG's friends would be spinning Cortland, home to the OG's gang, as well as spinning the bridge, or High Bridge. D-Thang wasn't the only one from the YG's making serious noise within the streets. Another Bronx drill rapper known locally as Wu Lottie, who was closely aligned with the YG's crew, would also be gaining attention in the New York drill scene. In February 2020, Wu Lottie would drop a track titled Fours Talk, this title being a reference to the alliance created by the YGs. The name references streets that end with the number 4. The alliance includes RPT from River Park Towers, 194, or Drilly Gang, 174, or Vataland and Mott Haven. Although Wu Lottie's music career would be looking promising, he would sadly be killed only 1 month following the release of this track, sparking a deadly war in New York City that subsequently resulted in the brutal murders of multiple young men and women.
This game, you're not ready for it.
On the 4th of April 2020, a group of YGs including Wu Lottie and Shaw G's would take a trip from their block to the rival OY hood, which was Sugar Hill. Upon arriving in Sugar Hill, a group of OY members would notice the crew on 154th and Amsterdam Avenue. The OYs then began to chase the rival YG's members. Wu Lottie would make it a few hundred feet before the OY members caught up, tripped him, and launched a vicious attack, which was all captured on video by one of the assailants. Wu Lottie was stabbed multiple times and hit with other objects. Upon the arrival of emergency services, Wu Lottie was rushed to a hospital within Harlem. Sadly, however, he was pronounced dead hours later. The news of Wu Lottie's death would reach the internet extremely quickly, with members of the YGs beginning to pay their respects for the fallen member. More negatively, however, the OGs and OYs would begin to disrespect the death of Wu Lottie heavily, even traveling to his memorial site and destroying it. Wu Lottie's name was often mentioned negatively by rivals to the YGs, with a massive explosion within the NY drill scene occurring in 2021, resulting in young rappers from each side disrespecting his name and creating diss records toward the YGs. Wu Lottie was close with prominent members of the YGs, like D-Thang, who would continue to carry his name in a positive light. The friendship between both Wu Lottie and D-Thang would go back to when they were both young, with the two even going live on Instagram in 2016. They would also be pictured together loads on social media. Upon hearing of Wu Lottie's passing, D-Thang would actually get a tattoo in remembrance of him. Rest in peace, Wu Lottie. A few months after the death of Wu Lottie, a new rapper would be making noise in the Bronx, this being K-Flock, who would drop his debut track titled FTO on the 26th of May 2020. B Love from the OGs was also dropping tracks, dropping his debut song, No Hook. It was actually B Love that would supposedly be the one to put K-Flock on, telling him to drop songs and take music seriously as a way of escaping the streets.
My son Love like, nah, at least I'm gonna go take it. From there, then I started playing, feel me? Going up. I see I could take it far, feel me? Opening doors, feel me? Like, my man's rapping, so I'm like, Wait till you come on, you gonna see what I'm booked.
However, K-Flock's frequent and past run-ins with the law would take him off the streets for a few months, with it being alleged he had committed a shooting on arrival only months after dropping his first track FTO. On the 20th of June 2020, at around 5 a.m., police would be called to Mapes Avenue in East Tremont. Upon arrival on the scene, 3 people would be suffering gunshot wounds. One of these people shot would be a supposed YG's member known locally as Eli. It's believed that members of Sev's side and Third side would be the attackers, with it being rumored that K-Flock was even arrested and charged for the shooting. However, he was later released and would continue his music career. Only a week following this almost fatal shooting, an alleged affiliate who knew some members of the YGs would be shot dead just days after graduating from high school, resulting in get-back shootings, leading to 2020 being one of the deadliest summers in New York City. On June the 28th, 2020, 17-year-old Brandon Hendricks, or Diddy, would be fatally shot in the neck, killing him only 1 week before his 18th birthday. Diddy wasn't actually involved with any gangs, and was a well-known basketballer. It was known that he knew a few OG's members, but wasn't involved. He was planning on attending St. John's University following his high school graduation. In an interview with the Bronx drill rapper Shimi, he would go on to explain that Diddy wasn't in fact in the streets, and was strictly a baller.
I'm like, yo, did he just play ball, or was he in the streets? You know what I'm saying?
Niggas was, when I first happened, niggas told my head, niggas, that's what happened when the streets.
Wow.
That's why niggas be mad when they did them, because
wow.
the op didn't do that. So.
Yeah, it's...
Rest in peace, Diddy. YGs would go on to diss Diddy, which is crazy. As like I said, Diddy had no gang ties and was a civilian. This factor didn't stop members like D-Thang from mentioning him within New York drill tracks. In his popular song G's Bop, D-Thang would name multiple dead people, including Diddy, followed by him doing a basketball shoot. This was highly disrespectful as Diddy was a well-known baller. Around a week following the shooting that killed B. Diddy, on the 7th of July 2020, a 15-year-old YG's member known locally as Raw G's would be walking down Prospect Avenue. At around 3:30 p.m., rival gang members would notice Raw G's shooting.
I saw a video. I don't know what it was. I know it was this dude. I remember his name Raw G's, right? And I guess he had a cane or a broomstick swinging on something. Running across the streets, swinging that motherfucker. That boy was sweeping the air, bro. He was swinging that. I don't know, if it was a cane or a broom or a rake, something, bro. He was swinging the hell out of that, trying to hit the motherfuckers. That shit was funny, man. I mean, it ain't funny because he passed away, man. But see, watching that video, I was like, this boy is swinging for them fences, boy. Hope he don't hit nobody.
Him in the back. The assailants fled after the shooting, with Raw G's then making his way around the block toward his home. Luckily, Raw G's survived this shooting. Sadly, only a year later, however, he would have been shot in a very similar attack. This time, however, he wouldn't be as lucky and would fall victim to the streets. In July 2020, K-Flock and B-Love would link up and would drop the New York drill anthem titled Op Spotter around a month following the death of B. Diddy. This track really showed off K-Flock's potential as a Bronx drill rapper and has amassed around 12 million views on YouTube. 2020 also saw the rise of young rappers from the OY collective. Example being E.Baby, who was making a big noise within the New York drill scene, dropping tracks like Ready for War, which sits on an impressive 5.6 million views. This factor being made crazier when you come to learn that E. was only 15 years old. In August 2020, D-Thang would drop the New York drill anthem titled Caution. In this track, you can hear him diss his rivals from OGs, OY, and also DOA, rapping that him and other YGs would spin Sugar Hill, home to the OY gang. September 2020 would actually proved to be a very deadly month within the beef, leading to the deaths of around 3 people, all within a 1-month time gap. On the 10th of September 2020, Dubsky, who was from the crew known as Vadaland, allied with the YGs under the Fours Alliance, would get into a confrontation with rival members. Dubsky would attempt to flee the members before sadly tripping over and falling to the ground. The attacker then ran up to him, standing over him and shooting him once in the head, killing him. This entire attack was caught on CCTV, but is way too shocking to show on YouTube. The news that Dubsky had died would reach his ops first, who would begin to clown him, with K-Flock even creating the famous ad-lib mocking him, this being "Don't run, don't trip," which he said on his popular track Is Ya Ready, followed by him as well as the DOA crew screaming Dubsky's name. The violence wouldn't end there, and on the 12th of September, 2 days later, a 23-year-old member associated with the OGs, known locally as Yellow, would be sitting in a car with a friend outside of the Jackson houses in Morris Heights. A gunman noticed the pair and slowly approached, opening fire on Yellow in the car. Yellow was hit in the head, whilst another 26-year-old was shot in the groin. groin. Yellow sadly died on the scene, with the other man being rushed to Lincoln Hospital, in which he made a steady recovery. The attack was thought to have been a get-back for Dubsky in the days earlier, with it being confirmed that an older YG's member known as Day Flocka was the alleged killer earlier. With it being confirmed that an older YG's member known
My boy look like he got like a 1970 type of revolver, boy. That motherfucker skinny as hell, man. It's like a 22 in that bad boy. That motherfucker like it came out of somebody's cowboy boots and shit, man.
known as Day Flocka was the alleged killer of Yellow, going on to be charged with his murder. It's also alleged a few other YG's members would be arrested for the murder. Rest in peace, Yellow. During this time of warfare, rappers from each side would be releasing rude drill anthems that racked up millions of streams. D-Thang released one of his biggest tracks, titled Bunny Hop, on the 1st of November 2020. This track currently sitting on 4.7 million.
Yeah, that was the dance I was talking about earlier, man. They're doing a bunny hop. It's a diss towards somebody, bro. That's crazy, man. And the one when they hit in their stomach, like getting shanked. Boy, these kids is wild, man. Woo! What would they come up with next?
In views. At the end of 2020, K-Flock, Dougie B, and Shaw EK would drop a track titled No More Free Dougie B. This gained millions of views. When looking back, it looks quite crazy having K-Flock and Shaw EK on the same track, as only months following this, K-Flock would begin to have a rivalry with both Shaw EK and E.Baby from OY. This was supposedly due to the fact E. was hanging with K-Flock's ops, and Shaw EK was then forced into picking a side. His decision was obviously to side with E. from OY, beginning to beef K-Flock. It would actually be around 2 weeks following the release of this No More Free Dougie B track that a member of DOA close with K-Flock would be shot dead outside of a deli, this then heavily affecting K-Flock. On the 23rd of December 2020, 16-year-old JB from the DOA crew would be standing outside of a deli within the Bronx. In a moment captured on CCTV, a man would slowly approach JB, and whilst it looked as if the two men were friends, the man would go on to get out a gun, and in a shocking turn of events, shot JB in the head. Rivals would be quick to start dissing JB, with a question as to who killed JB also flying around the internet, with it being rumored that the death of JB wasn't work of a rival, but instead a man with severe mental illness, with it being thought it was a random act of violence. Rest in peace, JB. Now, remember, I said K-Flock dropped a track titled No More Free Dougie B. Well, this was actually because Dougie B had just been released from prison and was beginning to get active within the Bronx scene. In March 2021, the rapping trio Dougie B, K-Flock, and B Love would drop the extremely popular track Brotherly Love, which sits on a whopping 40 million views. In the third verse on the track, K-Flock rapped the lyric, "And forever JB we gon' go dumb. Me and Doug's rapping. I hope that we blow up." This line showing love to his dead friend JB. It's also as if K-Flock knew that he was going to be successful within the Bronx drill scene, as only months after this, his career would explode into the mainstream, cementing him as one of the most well-known Bronx drill rappers. However, due to his gang ties, he would end up committing a broad daylight murder in a $4,000 outfit, wearing unreleased Jordans, this then subsequently ending in his arrest. A name that is often disrespected within the Bronx drill scene is that of Delilah. Delilah Vasquez was a 20-year-old girl who was supposedly close with drilly members. On the 17th of March 2021, she was shot in the head in an apartment on Hull Avenue. The attackers then fled the scene, with it being reported they were Blood Gang members. However, in an indictment on the Drilly Gang, it would come out that members of the Drilly Gang would be charged with the murder, which is crazy as Drilly members and Delilah were close. It's rumored that a gun accidentally went off and killed her. Rest in peace, Delilah. Delilah was actually dissed in a Lil TJ preview, which is crazy as he has escaped the hood and is making millions of dollars from the music industry. In April 2021, police would be called to 174th Street in Crotona. Upon arriving on the scene, 18-year-old Taco Guns from the YG's gang was suffering multiple gunshot wounds to his arm. He would be rushed to hospital, and luckily
My boy Taco. That boy must love eating tacos, man, because you can't get a name out of nowhere like that. Either you eat tacos, you love them bad boys, because I do, or you be making them bomb-ass tacos, man, because you just don't get a taco just out of nowhere, bro. Either they call you Taco because one of those two reasons, or just because, you know, you Latino or something, and they know you like eating tacos. But damn, Taco Hernandez
would make a steady recovery. It's believed the shooting was carried out by rival gang members. This came out in a 2023 indictment, which targeted 12 members of a Bronx gang. The members would be charged with 110 charges, ranging from attempted murder, and violent robberies. One of the charges would be the shooting of Taco Guns in April 2021. Now, the shooting of Taco Guns would be one of many incidents that would lead to summer 2021, being one of the bloodiest and most dangerous summers, resulting in the gun violence within the Bronx, soaring to heights not seen since 1996. This all following the tragic shooting of a 19-year-old known locally as Ty Swish.
Check out how this app helped me buy whatever I want in my favorite game. Unlimited money makes it so you can get what you want from the game, right?
On the 7th of July 2021, Tyquil Doherty, known locally as Ty Swish, would be standing outside of his apartment building within the Bronx. It's important to note that Ty Swish wasn't directly a member of any gangs, but was known to be friends with a few members of the YGs. Anyways, just before midnight, members believed to have been from the Rayway DOA gang would pull up, shooting Ty Swish multiple times, killing him on the scene. It's also believed that a 13-year-old DOA member known locally as J-Rip was present when Ty Swish was shot dead. Upon hearing the news about Ty Swish's passing, members associated with the YGs would be planning a get-back, and only around 4 days later, the 13-year-old DOA member J-Rip that was present at the killing of Ty Swish would be shot dead. On the 11th of July 2021, just 4 days after the shooting of Ty Swish, 13-year-old J-Rip from the DOA Rayway gang would be standing outside of Angel's Cafe on East 187th Street. It's believed he was standing with FBN Bobby, who was associated with...
Man, at this point, man, where the parents at, bro? I'm old. I ain't letting my kid out there, doing stupid shit. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn how old he is. He ain't gonna go out there doing dumb shit. That's real shit, man. Where the parents at? Or unless these kids go out there and then they change their attire once they're outside the house. You know what I mean? I used to do that shit. I used to hide some pants underneath the oven, the bottom one. I used to sneak some pants in there, hide them. Till my mom goes to work, getting them bad boys out and go to school dressed different. Come home, take them off before she gets home. Man, but for real, man, all these youngsters out there, man, where the parents at, bro?
With Third Side. At around 3:15 p.m., a black vehicle approached J-Rip. A gunman then stepped out of the car and began shooting toward J-Rip, who was hit multiple times. FBN Bobby then began to run, with J-Rip then crawling into the Angel's Cafe before dying on the scene. A murder investigation would be launched following this, and would see the arrests of Taco Guns, that same teen that was shot in his arm, as well as another YG's member known as Jaw Squeeze. It was even alleged that a YG's member known as Raw G's was present when J-Rip was shot dead, and would be one of the first rivals beginning to disrespect J-Rip, and would start to go live on Instagram dissing him. Sadly, however, under 9 hours later, Raw G's would have been shot once again. However, sadly, this time he wouldn't be as lucky as the first time, and would sadly fall victim to the streets. Around 8 hours following the deadly shooting that claimed the life of J-Rip, at 11:30 p.m., YG's member Raw G's would be in the back of a taxi on the way to a music studio. In a moment captured on CCTV, two men on scooters would pull up next to the car window and began shooting into the car. Raw G's was hit multiple times and died on the scene. Rest in peace, Raw G's. Since the death of Raw G's, he has become one of the most disrespected names within the Bronx. Before his death, he had even had a back and forth with the popular DOA rapper K-Flock. In K-Flock's track with C-Blue titled What Y'all Wanna Do, he would rap "Rah rah, saw me, he ain't let it clap. Ask him how much I threw back." Raw G's would hear this diss and would respond in his own track in which he rapped, "Yo KK, now let's talk the facts. Anytime that they threw, I threw back. C-Blue, you a kid, you ain't smoking on Matt." Hours following the death of Raw G's, police would be called to East 184th Street and Washington Avenue. Upon arrival, Dougie B was discovered with a gunshot wound to the leg. It's believed the shooter was the same YG's member that was shot in the arm, this once again being Taco Guns, who has gone on to be arrested and charged for the shooting. Luckily, Dougie B survived the shooting, although he's often mocked by rivals, who have started to shout "my leg" in disrespect toward him. Yus G's from the YG's would actually release an entire diss track toward this incident, this being titled Dougie Bop, and featured multiple lyrics dissing Dougie B, even rapping, like "fuck Dougie, he had to move. I heard he was yelling my leg when they threw." In 2021, new younger members of OY would begin to get active within the streets. Example of this being both Naughty Osama and Didi Osama, who were both brothers. Naughty Osama would release the track titled Aftermath in 2021. This showed off the potential that Naughty had, only being 13 years old at the time. Sugar Hill Keem, Blockwork, and E. Baby would also be exploding and would be putting the OY gang on the map. Sugar Hill Keem and Blockwork released the very popular track titled Move Look, which exploded, and currently sits on 12.6 million views. The New York Police Department would begin to look into the gangs involved with this war, and were slowly gathering information on the members of the YGs. And whilst it looked as if the deadly summer had ended, another murder would spark get-back killings in Manhattan and the Bronx. On the 26th of July 2021, a 2-Woo member from Manhattan known as Matt Sav would be walking on Frederick Douglass Boulevard. At around 10 p.m., two attackers, one from the OY gang and one from the OGs, would pull up on a bike. The members then shot Matt Sav multiple times in the torso. Matt Sav was rushed rushed to hospital. Sadly, however, he would be pronounced dead upon reaching the hospital, with yet another murder investigation being launched. It's rumored that the attackers were PJ Glizzy from the OGs and Sugar Hill Mel from OY, with PJ Glizzy currently awaiting trial for the death of Matt Sav. Rest in peace, Matt Sav. Now, PJ Glizzy was actually a well-known Bronx drill rapper who gained millions of views on his songs like Muddy, which was a track directed at opposing YGs, as well as COE with B Love and Shaw EK. It was actually this track in which PJ Glizzy would seemingly rap about the murder of Matt Sav months before it happened. In the song, he rapped, "I might just slide to his block with a dirt bike. I'm gonna keep clicking until he drops." What makes this crazy, however, was that it was reported that the attackers drove around on a dirt bike before killing Matt Sav. Following the death of Matt Sav, K-Flock would release the highly anticipated track titled Is Ya Ready? This song went insanely viral and featured extremely rude disses toward rival enemies from the OYs and YGs. Is Ya Ready currently sits on an impressive 87 million views, blowing K-Flock up, leading to him becoming the face of the Bronx drill scene. However, K-Flock wouldn't be the only rapper making huge noise, and on the 28th of September 2021, D-Thang, Bando, and T-Dot would release the track titled Talk Facts. This song also went viral, currently sitting on 46 million views, which is crazy. In 2021 and 22, Sugar Hill Keem was on the drill run of a lifetime, dropping songs like DOAK with J-Star Baller, Been Ready, and Stop Dissing, all three of these tracks gaining hundreds of thousands of views. It would also be around this time that an incident would occur between OY members and rivals that would lead to some in-house beef within the OY gang. At the end of 2021, Sugar Hill Keem and another OY member known by the street name Blockwork would be walking within Harlem. The two members noticed a car full of rivals that had tried to pull up on the pair. Upon discovering this, Sugar Hill Keem would begin to let off shots towards the rivals, whilst Blockwork hid behind a car. Luckily, no one was injured, although both Sugar Hill Keem and Blockwork would quickly be arrested for this shooting, which was caught on a nearby CCTV. During the time that both Keem and Blockwork were in prison, Sugar Hill Keem would begin to claim that Blockwork had snitched on him. Both the OY gang as well as the OGs would then decide to side with Sugar Hill Keem, turning on their old friend Blockwork. This information will become a lot more relevant as the story goes on, however. Only 2 days after the release of the YG's anthem Talk Facts, on the 30th of September 2021, 16-year-old Naz Rolla, or Nazi from the Rayway gang, would be standing outside of a deli, only feet away from where J-Rip was shot dead months earlier. Anyways, rival YG's members would notice Naz Rolla and began shooting towards him. Sadly, Naz Rolla was gunned down and killed on the scene. Rest in peace, Naz Rolla. It's believed that Naz actually had a daughter, which makes the entire situation worse, as his daughter will now have to grow up without a dad due to the endless gang violence that has claimed so many young lives. Toward the end of 2021, K-Flock would drop his first album, titled The DOA Tape. This featured 8 tracks, including a remix to his popular track, Being Honest. This remix featured the popular rapper G Herbo, whilst it looked as if K-Flock was taking over the New York drill scene. In December 2021, he would commit an act of crime in a $4,000 outfit, wearing unreleased Jordans that he was seen promoting days earlier. On the 16th of December 2021, K-Flock and a girl would be walking down Amsterdam Avenue within Sugar Hill. This being the territory of the OY gang, K-Flock was seen on CCTV with designer clothing. They would walk past a barbershop when an OY member known locally as Waska noticed K-Flock outside and would walk out of the barbershop clutching his gun. K-Flock noticed this and quickly retrieved his own gun, shooting Waska on the scene. Waska flew backwards and was pronounced dead on the scene. Upon hearing that K-Flock was wanted, he would decide to hand himself in, being charged with the murder. K-Flock's lawyer stated that the shooting was a clear case of self-defense, as OY Waska did clutch his gun and upped it before K-Flock shot him dead, although NYPD would put dozens of more charges toward K-Flock as a part of the indictment on his criminal activities. Rest in peace, Waska. Now, we don't often hear DOA and allied rappers mock Waska. This may be being due to the fact that, in a way, DOA had lost one of their most well-known members, being K-Flock. At the end of 2021, a member allied with the DOA gangs, known by the street alias C-High, would release a track titled Flocking for Bro with Swervo Flocka. This song currently sitting on around 1.1 million views. C-High wouldn't stop there, and in February 2022 he would preview his track Head Pop. Sadly, however, before this song could be released, he was rumored to have been set up by a girl and would sadly fall victim to the streets. On the 7th of February 2022, it was believed that C-High would be with a girl before then being ambushed by rivals and being shot multiple times, being killed instantly. Now, not much is known about his death, with the murder going unsolved unsolved till this day. Rest in peace, C-High. C-High had a massive impact on the drill scene, with K-Flock even going on to post the music video to his track Head Pop, which he was previewing in the days before his death. The song racked up around 8 million views and was very successful. Sadly, however, C-High would never be able to see the success that his music career was able to gain. Now, what no one was expecting was the fact that NYPD would have been gaining information on dozens of RPTYG's members and would be waiting to swoop in and arrest them all at once. And in May 2022, the police would swoop in and arrest 23 members of the RPT gang from the River Park Towers. The prominent members hit with the indictment included D-Thang, Lottie, T-Dot, Bando, and E-Day. D-Thang would be wrapped up with a conspiracy case and would even be hit with an animal abuse charge, as they would stream themselves killing a pigeon upon reaching a certain number of.
Man, these cops are just putting anything on these kids' record, bro. Spitting on the sidewalk. He threw his shoe at me. He farted in public. He threw a booger. He flicked the booger at me. It's assault with a booger. All types, you know. Don't just make some shit up and put it on there, bro. Just to lock people up. Damn.
Viewers on the stream. D-Thang would be a massive loss to the Bronx drill scene and would be in prison from May 2022 until the start of 2024, in which he was released, dodging the charges. Similarly to the YG's indictment, a massive drilly takedown occurred a month before in April 2022. The indictment included the arrests of 20 drilly gang members, with all of them being charged with crimes like murder, non-fatal shootings, as well as stabbings. It was revealed in this indictment that the members of the drillies committed around 32 acts of violence between September 2018 and March 2022. The crimes included within the indictment included in January 2019 when drilly members attempted to rob someone but would end up stabbing and attacking the man. A year later, in July 2020, a group of drillies allegedly shot dead James Rivera after chasing him in a car. A month following this, 2 teen drilly members fired shots at a busy subway station.
I'll be right back, man. My ass cheeks is asleep. I gotta get my ass up here and put blood through it, bro, because it's a long ass video, man. I'm gonna go and stretch my legs out, man. I'll be back. Shit. Alright, man. I'm back. I had to take a little break. My ass was numb, bro. My ass fell asleep. Had to get some blood circulation going through that thing. You feel me? Let's get back to it, bro. Man, this chair is kind of hard. I gotta get something softer. But let's get it, man.
It was later revealed in this indictment
12 more minutes. 12 more minutes.
that the drilly members would be charged with the death of Delilah Vasquez, who was shot dead in March 2021. It's rumored that she was accidentally shot by a man playing with a gun. The drilly gang was linked to around 4 other shootings in the months following March 2021, before then being indicted in April 2022. During 2022, the kids that repped the OY gang would begin to drop New York drill tracks. Examples of these would be Didi Osama, Nadi Osama, and Sugar Hill D. Dot, with Sugar Hill D. Dot originally being a background dancer within.
Alright, D-Dot, man. I was watching when they were the kids, bro. They used to be in the videos when they were kids, man. But then he started rapping, and then I found out he took himself out, I think, over a female, man. I think that's what it was, but I'm gonna find out if it's true or not, man. But man, these youngsters is too young to be going through that type of things if it is true, bro. They're dying too young, bro.
In OY music videos. However, after seeing his friends like Didi Osama and Nadi Osama beginning to drop tracks, he would do the same, dropping the song We Are Young in the start of 2022. This song currently sitting on around 1.5 million views.
Why is everyone spiraling over YouTube banning ad blockers? Like, chill guys, just use Pi. It's a free Chrome extension.
Didi Osama and Nadi Osama would drop one of their first tracks together around June 2022, this being titled Without You. It would also be in June that Nadi Osama would post a preview to an upcoming song on his Instagram, this song being titled 41K, 41 being a gang from Brooklyn. Now, you may be confused as to how OY from Harlem had beef with a gang in Brooklyn. After Blockwork had allegedly snitched, he would get close with 41 members, even dropping a song together titled OG's K, which was a disrespectful track aimed toward the OGs. A member of 41 would also diss Shah EK's dead father. This then meant that because OY was cool with OGs and beefed their old friend Blockwork, they were now beefing 41. Anyways, in this preview dropped by Nadi Osama, you can actually hear him rap that if you are a 41 member you can die, as well as a bar which referenced 41 being cool with Blockwork, who was supposedly a snitch, in which he rapped, 41K you jacking the snitches, okay y'all gonna get stitches. For a new drill rapper. Naughty was extremely rude and didn't mind dissing his dead and alive rivals. Sadly, however, Naughty would end up being stabbed to death, resulting in his name becoming the front of a rival dance move, in which he was mocked for how he died. His death also then blew his brother DD Osama into the spotlight, resulting in DD becoming a somewhat mainstream rapper nowadays. On the 9th of July 2022, old Ethan Reyes, or Naughty Osama, would be walking with his blood brother, DD Osama. It's believed that their cousin JJ6 was also with them. At around 3 p.m., Naughty would decide to split off with DD and go a separate way with JJ6. Naughty and JJ6 made their way toward the subway, as they were supposedly traveling to another block. It's believed that upon reaching the subway station, the pair noticed a 15-year-old, who went by the street name K. Both Naughty and JJ6 chased K. into the subway station.
Man, what's up with these dot names, bro? Dot, Naughty, not Naughty. I'm tripping, my bad. Oh, yeah, but dots everywhere, bro. I already heard like 8 dot names, man. That must be a popular name, man. Something.
Before then attacking him with a broomstick. This is when K. retrieved a knife that he had on him and swung for Naughty Osama, striking him in the abdomen. It's rumored that following the stabbing, JJ6 would flee, leaving Naughty to die. Emergency services would be called to the scene and would transport Naughty up the stairs out of the subway to the hospital. However, sadly, Naughty was pronounced dead in the hospital hours later. Police would arrive on the scene and discovered the broomstick as well as the knife, which then led them to arrest 15-year-old K. hours later. K. was charged with second-degree murder. However, that charge was dropped, and he was charged with criminal possession as well as first-degree manslaughter. Later in 2022, however, K. would be let free after all charges were dropped against him, as it was a clear case of self-defense. Rest in peace, Naughty. Only 10 days following the tragic passing of Naughty, OY members DD Osama, Naughty's blood brother, J-Star Baller, Naughty and DD's older brother, as well as E. Baby, Sugar Hill D. Roscoe G, and Duty Low, released the tribute track titled E4N, which stood for Everything for Naughty. DD Osama would even rap a heartfelt lyric in which he said, "Yo J-Star, I told Naughty stay out the streets. Wish I was there so it would have been me." This just showing how much of a loss Naughty was to the OYs. Now, remember how I said Naughty had previewed the 4-1K track, which featured very disrespectful lyrics toward the 4-1 gang? Well, it would be this exact 4-1 gang that would release one of the rudest diss tracks towards Naughty Osama, this song even going viral on TikTok, and inspiring random people that were unaware of what had happened to do a dance which imitated how Naughty Osama was killed. This track was the Naughty Bop.
We have new developments tonight after a teenager was stabbed to death. A 15-year-old boy has been charged with killing another teen on a subway platform yesterday. As the young victim's family mourns his death, commuters tell CBS 2's Elise.
On the 7th of October 2023, 3 rappers from the 4-1 collective, being Kyle Rich, Jen Carter, and Ta uploaded the music video to their track titled.
Yeah, I saw that, man. October 7th, 2023, but you put 2022, bro. I'm just saying, bro. People saw that. I say it up. I just had to put it out there. That's all. I saw it.
Naughty Bop. The music video opened with knives being visible on the floor, but what some people didn't notice was that the knives spelt out an N, most likely for Naughty. At the start of the track, Naughty Osama's previewed song titled 4-1K would be heard, with Naughty rapping the lyrics like 4-1K y'all jacking the snitches, okay y'all gonna get stitches. Kyle Rich would directly respond to this lyric later on in the song, where he rapped, "Brody said we was gonna get stitches. One day was dissing, the next in the ditches." This just being one of the multiple direct disses towards Naughty. Within the music video, the rappers even created a dance move mocking Naughty. They could be heard saying, "Not punching my hips, come here gotta do it like this," whilst visibly making stabbing actions toward their hips. This song gained a massive amount of attention after it was released due to how shocking and rude it was. Currently sitting on over 40 million streams, it gained so much attention that people on TikTok would perform the dance without even knowing that they were mocking a dead 15-year-old. Rest in peace, Naughty. Only one day following the release of the Naughty Bop track, DD Osama and Duty Low would drop a direct response to the song titled Back to Back, which is crazy timing. Anyways, the song featured multiple disses towards 4-1 and other dead rivals. Both DD Osama and Sugar Hill D.'s music careers exploded, with people from all over the world starting to watch what was going on in New York City. Sadly, however, both D. and DD Osama would lose another close friend only a month following the release of the Naughty Bop. In November 2022, E. Baby from OY, who was only 17, would sadly take his own. After the news came out, it was believed he had. However, since then, it's believed he as his rivals often mention him and detail the fact that he shot The loss of E-Dot was massive for OY, as he was really the first rapper to put the group on, and would gain millions of streams in doing so. Rest in peace, E-Dot. It's believed that following the death of E-Dot, OY and OGs would begin to have a rivalry, as E-Dot was supposedly the one keeping OY and OGs allied, even having tracks with the OGs rapper Shaw EK before his death. Around November 2022, a member associated with RPT known as Six would release the underrated track titled Free RPT, which was a response to the indictment that occurred in May 2022 that led to the arrests of multiple RPT YG's members. Within the track, you can hear him say that 65 charges had the RPT members feeling stuck. This included D Thang, who was in the middle of the indictment. Another gang would start to get active within the war around this time, this being Slattery or Slattery Boys, which was a gang that was closely allied with DOA gangs like Sevside, Third Side, and Rayway. This Slattery Boys crew would have a deadly war with YG's, and in November 2022, a female assassin from the Slattery gang allegedly known under the street alias Yaya Top Op would kill a member allied with the YGs. At around 9:15 p.m. on the 30th of November 2022, a 14-year-old member associated with the YGs, known by the street name Prince, was walking down Morris Avenue with his 15-year-old brother. Two shooters would run up on them and began shooting toward Prince, who was hit multiple times. Prince was taken to hospital, but sadly died only hours later, whilst his brother escaped not injured. A few weeks following the murder, a 17-year-old female was arrested for the murder. She is thought to have been a part of the Slattery gang, and is to be charged with the killing, and either found guilty or not guilty once a full
Hey man, these females be active too, man. Nowadays they be active. They be with the boys, man. Not just for the laying part. They be doing the spraying now, man. Backdooring people, man. Y'all gotta watch yourself. Y'all better think with the right head. Shit, it's crazy out there.
trial has taken place. Rest in peace, Prince. At the start of 2023, the Sevside and Third Side gang would see 8 of their members being arrested and charged with multiple crimes. This included K Flock, who was already fighting a murder charge. Another prominent member charged was that of Zay Munna. The document that showed the indictment information also showed a timeline of events that were linked to the DOA members. K Flock was linked with the murder of OY Waska, as well as shooting at rival members in June 2020, and also shooting at rivals in November 2021. Some of the charges put toward K Flock include use of a firearm resulting in death, attempted murder, and assault with a dangerous weapon in aid of racketeering.
You guys see this shit, man? It's crazy. Cops do this shit with everybody, man. They know what y'all be doing. You guys think you guys get away with it? Y'all don't, man. Cops know. They be keeping track. They're just waiting for the right time for you guys to, you know what I mean, make it big. If they see you guys making money, if they see you getting jewelry, flashing that cash, car, get the bag, man. Because once the cops come in there and they arrest you guys, all that shit that you have in your possession, money, whatever it is, it goes to them, bro. They keep that. You ain't getting that money back. So they're waiting for y'all to become millionaires or whatever, man. And then they come in and scoop all y'all up. Take all y'all stuff, bro. They know what y'all doing, man. Just because you get away with 1 or 2, you ain't get away. They're just waiting for the right moment. It's crazy, man. The cops is playing a more strategic type of game, man.
And if found guilty, he is facing either mandatory life in prison or death. Around the start of 2023, Sugar Hill Keem was home from prison and would begin to drop music. Keem dropped Been Ready in February 2023. Keem wouldn't stop there and dropped a deluxe album in 2023, this being titled King of Drill Deluxe. It featured around 11 songs that currently all sit on over 1 million streams. If anything, these numbers that Keem was pulling showed everyone that he was the most promising New York drill rapper out at the time. Now, at the end of 2022, a rapper from the crew Grizzly Gang, which was allied with the YGs. This rapper was known under the street name M.EBK and would drop a track with JB Sleaze and Eddie G's. This track gained a massive amount of attention, currently sitting on around 15 million views. It looked as if M. could really save the Bronx drill scene from this release alone. Sadly, however, only months after this track was released, M. was killed by rivals. During the early hours of the morning on the 5th of July 2023, 18-year-old M. was standing on Morris Avenue near East 182nd Street when rival Slattery members would notice him. In a moment captured on CCTV, the Slattery member that noticed M. began shooting toward him, hitting him in the leg. The NYPD would respond to the shooting immediately. Arriving on the scene shortly after the attack, another 19-year-old was also hit in the shooting, but went on to luckily survive. Sadly, however, M. wouldn't survive. Despite the attempts of medical professionals, he was pronounced dead on the scene. After the news that M. had died reached the internet, dozens of tributes to him poured in on social media like Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. titled, which just shows how much of an impact he was on the Bronx drill scene. Rest in peace, M. During 2023, the 4-1 Collective was continuing to maintain their relevance after dropping the viral diss song, Naughty Bop. Since then, the trio has dropped multiple songs, which have all gained millions of views. DD Osama and Sugar Hill D. also dropped tracks in 2023 that have both gained millions of views. An example being DD Osama's track Up Now with Coil Ray that sits on around 10 million views. At the end of 2023, D. and BBG Steppa would drop a track titled Spinnin' Part 2, which now has around 6 million views. Naughty Osama's killer K. would also start to make music, in which he disrespected Naughty. The fact that he was the one that killed Naughty would gain him attention in the drill scene. Rest in peace. The beginning of 2024 would be looking very promising for the Bronx drill scene, with D-Thang being released in January and immediately getting back to music, dropping his first song since being out titled Last Day In at the end of January, before then dropping multiple more songs. He released Smoochy Valentine on February 14th, 2024, and would then drop Drill Cappers only 2 weeks after this song, on the 28th of February. This song actually featured a diss toward DD Osama, in which D-Thang rapped, "How you gonna text me asking for a feature, when you know we smoking his brain," before then showing a private message that DD Osama had sent D-Thang asking for a feature. This was supposedly a sly diss toward either Naughty or E. Baby. Since this song released, D-Thang has been on a consistent run all 2024, seemingly dropping banger after banger. 2024 saw other disrespectful releases, example being 83 Baby, who was associated with the OY gang, releasing a music video titled Lottie Bop. Similarly to the Naughty Bop, this music video mocked the way in which Wu Lottie was killed, and mocked him and other dead rivals. DD Osama, Bloody, and other OY members then linked up and dropped a very disrespectful music video titled Stop Running. At the beginning of the music video, they actually had Wu Lottie's killer on FaceTime and would sample Wu Lottie's last moments before he was stabbed to death. Something that's crazy is that in D-Dot's verse, he actually raps that he was only Wu Lottie died. This Stop Running track was made in order to defend Naughty Osama's name from rivals, whilst the rappers dissed dead rivals. Rest in peace, Wu Lottie. In 2024, Shaw G's from the YGs dropped a track titled Get Back, and was once again a direct diss track aimed toward OY and Naughty Osama. Now, since the death of M.EBK, no other incidents have really occurred between the gangs mentioned. If you have learned anything from this video, make sure to stay away from the gang life, as this life only ever leads to jail or death, and rarely anything positive. Rest in peace, everyone in this video.
Facts, man. That's all you get from the street life, death or prison.
MB, you know how that shit go, man.
Gang.
Gang! Stop!
Man, that shit is crazy, bro. That was crazy, man. Long ass video though, bro. But shit, we got through it. New York is different, man. They ain't playing. They don't care. They just crashing out, bro. Like all of them that did something, they all got arrested. And the ones that didn't, they still got arrested later on, bro. It's crazy, man. The streets is wild. The streets is dangerous. Just be careful where you at. If you know you're into it with other people, man, don't just walk around like you're safe. Even if you're in your own hood, your own area, in front of your house, man. Don't just sit like nothing's gonna happen to you. You gotta stay prepared at all times, man. But yeah, stay safe out there, guys. Yeah, let me know what y'all think. Hit that like, dislike, whatever. But don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Your homie that essay. I'm out. Peace. Don't think about leaving without hitting the subscribe button.